I almost got into a fight with a McDonald's security guard earlier today, which is a whole...
Do tell.
So I went to McDonald's earlier today. This is a story that's not going to make me sound the greatest, but I don't think I deserve this because in New York City, when you're in your neighborhood, sometimes you just go out and you just look like a crazy person, because stuff's just nearby. And I knew it was cold, but I didn't, bank on it being quite so cold. And the McDonald's is like 10 minutes away from my apartment, so I put on flip-flops to go there. By the time I got there, my toesies were frozen, and I got in the McDonald's and ordered on the little kiosk and was sitting down. And I wasn't, being like crazy obnoxious. I just had my, hands on top of my toes, just trying to warm them up, which is a little weird, but it's New York City. It's not the weirdest thing that's ever happened in a McDonald's. And this security guard, this guy with like dreadlocks and a security hoodie, that's when you know it's really officials, when they're in a security hoodie, comes by, he's like, "Hey man, stop digging at your feet. That's nasty as fuck." And I'm like, I just didn't say anything to him, and he went back. And I was like sitting way out of the way. I wasn't around anybody, There was it was like 11 in the morning. There was like 9 people in there. And so I just kept my hands on top of it. And then he looks over and he's like about to chastise me again. He's like, "What's your number?" He's like behind the counter with the people. And I show him. He's like, "Here, take your stuff." He's like telling the people behind the counter. He's like, "This nasty motherfucker touching his feet. Put on some shoes." And then I get my stuff and I just go, "Asshole," as I'm walking out. And he goes, "Hey, fuck you, man." I'm like, "Oh, fuck off," as I walk out the door. And he pops out the door after me and's like, "Hey man, I don't work for McDonald's. I'll come out here and I'll beat your ass in the street." And I kind of just did my hands up at him as I walked away. So
Matt, I'm going to say something bold. I'm going to have to side with the security guard on this one. Why are you wearing flip-flops in the winter?
Because it was 10 minutes away from my apartment. And
that's a long time to be outside in flip-flops. It's 23 degrees in New York City.
Look, I said the story didn't make me look great, but I don't think I deserved all of that,
Well, but then you're in a restaurant. You have your disgusting feet out in public where everyone's trying to eat. You're picking at them. I mean, come on.
I had my hands on top of them in an attempt to warm them. I think he thought I was homeless, maybe.
That's possible. I mean, you don't typically see people in flip-flops, at this time of year, at least. Like maybe in the laundry room downstairs.
I miscalculated. It's when I go down to the bodega down the street from me, I just wear flip-flops because it's literally like a 2-minute walk. I wore flip-flops out to just go get some Cokes before the show. The point is, I don't think I deserved all of that. If they just came up and they were like, "Hey, could you stop doing that?" I would have been like, "Sorry," but it's
right.
I've met very few security guards in my life who aren't on a giant power trip. Like you're the security guard at the McDonald's and you're threatening to kick my ass because I wore flip-flops. In the McDonald's.
It's a bit of an extreme.
It's an extreme reaction.
But extreme reaction to an extreme thing. You're seeing you sit there, touching your toes.
Again, I had my hands just flat on top of them in an attempt to just
That doesn't make it. I mean, you're still touching the same things. This is like an episode of Seinfeld now.
Look, I admit that I was in the wrong. I just don't think I deserve that. And I would have fought that man if I had, not been wearing flip-flops out in 20-degree weather. The point is, I'm going to go back to that McDonald's tomorrow, maybe, and talk to a manager because someone who's that unhinged, I can't believe that that's the first incident he's had. It's
with someone not wearing.
With
shoes?
just being weirdly confrontational. It's you're security guard at McDonald's. I guess there's not a lot to do. So the second anything happens, you have to
Look, you have your supporters here, Matt. Alkanox thinks you're probably in the right.
I admit it was a weird thing to do, and it was one of those things where when I was out for about 7 minutes, I was like, "Oh, I fucked up." And I got inside. I'm like, "Okay, just
I mean, no shoes, no shirt, no service. That's a common.
Flip-flops are shoes. They are technically shoes.
It is a McDonald's. It is. I think it's disgusting, personally.
I agree. It was not a wise choice.
I saw you there. I would walk past you and just be like, "Jesus Christ," But that's it. I wouldn't confront you about it.
It was just a weird thing to be confrontational about. And again, if you'd been like, "Hey, don't do that," I admit it was not, and I was trying to not be sitting near anybody. I knew it was weird looking, but it was I fucked up. It's Karen Matt versus, yeah, it's the battle of the Karens who will win. But on my way back from also wearing flip-flops to go get some Cokes before the show, a random man on the street said he liked my hair and told me a brief story about how he used to have long hair and donated it all when he got cut.
Oh.
So it's been a weird day of just interacting with the public.
Yes.
These are my days.
And that's what the security guard is telling viewers of his live stream right now. He's telling this story from his point of view. There is this disgusting guy. He just comes in wearing flip-flops. What do you want me to do?
This is an episode of Seinfeld we're just having now.
Well,
that was a fun anecdote.
I love that. Thank you, Matt.
Well, thank you. It's I'm not mentally well. I admit that it was it was not a wise choice.
You own shoes.
I do own shoes, but it was like a 10-minute walk. I thought I could just slide some stuff on real fast and just pop out and get some food and pop back. But it was a lot colder than.
Is you're saying it's like a 10-minute walk? That's like what, half a mile?
I mean, yeah, it was like I can cover about a block a minute. It was like 10 blocks away.
Why would you choose to walk half a mile when it's 23 degrees out in flip-flops?
I mean, toes are no different. I don't wear gloves a lot out in public. You know, your fingers get a little cold. You get back, you warm them up. But it was just a little too much. And
but you don't have to be uncomfortable in the winter with your toes, at the very least. I mean, gloves. Look, I don't always wear gloves, but I see the benefit in them.
I don't know. I've just gotten when you live in New York, you just get weird sometimes, especially in your neighborhood. I've just kind of got to where I'll just throw anything on.
This is not a New York thing. I grew up in New York. I would never go outside.
You've just thrown on random bullshit to just go to stores though before that are close to you.
I mean, maybe.
It was one of those things. It wasn't like I was trying. It was close. It was early. I didn't want to,
Well, no. If it was you lived above a McDonald's, I would say, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Just going downstairs. But 10 minutes on 23 degree weather. Holy crap. This is going to be the whole show tonight. We're just going to discuss this.
We'll talk about more. You can discuss your thoughts with us more on Monday. The point is, I know I was in the wrong. I just don't think I deserved that overreaction.
I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if there's necessarily a right or wrong, but I just question why you would do that to yourself. I'm more concerned just about you. Why would you put yourself
Because I don't take good care of myself, Chris. That's
yeah. Well, sure.
Anyway.
Again, you have your supporters. At least you have one. Let's start a GoFundMe for Matt for socks.
But the thing is I do have socks, but how much warm, if I just had a pair of Nikes on, it wouldn't have been that much warmer. It
would have been much, much warmer. You wouldn't have felt the need to warm them in a McDonald's at the very least.
Or they would have been cold and I would have had no way of getting in direct touch with them via my body heat in order to warm them faster.
Sure. Were you wearing a jacket at least?
I was wearing a long sweatshirt. Yeah, I was wearing a sweatshirt and then a hoodie over the sweatshirt. So it's I did look homeless 100% probably.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Because he even said when he was yelling at me the first time, he was like, I don't care if you paid for something here or not, which you don't normally say to people who are...
I mean, I eat McDonald's all the time, and I'm saying it wasn't in your favor to this guy. If he's saying, is this guy homeless or not? And he sees you wearing flip-flops and you're in a McDonald's.
Yeah. It was a weird... Yeah. Weather. The point is that I'm bad at taking care of myself, and that security guard is on a bit of a power trip.
Wait, were you wearing pants? Sharp Doggy says...
I was wearing pants. I was wearing everything.
Pants or shorts?
I was wearing pants. I wasn't wearing
pajama pants?
I was wearing jeans.
Okay. All right.
Jeans, sweatshirt, hoodie, and flip-flops because I'm just lazy and sometimes I like to just scoop on shoes real fast and then just scurry out the door.
I find this whole thing very fascinating. I'm glad we haven't spoken since this happened because you probably would have told me this already.
This is why the pre-show was running late to get to you tonight. I've just been ruminating on this all day.
Rushmore Yankee. Why don't you just say I'm Matt from Dumb Mysteries?
Do you know what Mystery Science Theater is, my guy?
I'm
gonna go in tomorrow in in my business suit and just be like, you know how you yelled at me, and just have a pretty woman moment, big mistake.
Big. We were gonna shoot an episode of The Witching Hour here, and now we're not. Big mistake.
I'm gonna have to trim this entire story out for YouTube.
It's
Anyway,
so good. It's so good. And cut.
and cut. Mystery hour, everybody.